Hello, God bless everybody watching now and on the repeat. We got a story to tell. The story of Lexi, an Odessa, Texas resident, and pretty heartbreaking situation here, y'all. But without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce my co-host, Christy. You there, sis? Christy.
Hey, I'm here, Nino.
Okay, sorry about that, sis. Yeah, just hearing the info, sis. Is just again. Anyways, let's just get to it. I don't want to be I want to tell the story, Chrissy. So this situation right here, I haven't heard much of it. We actually have the sister on the line, Christy. Our thoughts, real quick. This is a pretty sad situation, and we're gonna go ahead and broadcast this out there, for the world to hear, because I believe, sis, it's injustice. I believe that the city of Midland and Odessa should do better for the citizens, and it's kind of the reoccurring theme, right, Christy, that we're just being failed by our by law enforcement, by our city officials, by the city, as tax-paying residents. And I want to talk too down on them, of course, because they do have a job to do, and I don't want to be anti-establishment, for lack of better words, but it's just something about the system right now, sis, in West Texas. It's just kind of wrong. Would you agree, Christy? Go ahead.
I completely agree, Nino. And it's just, like you said, we don't know a whole bunch of the story because we asked that, we all hear it together on the live. But the one part that I did hear her say is just that the family is the one that's having to call to get any kind of updates. It's a reoccurring theme. It is so heartbreaking for these families to have to be the ones to call to find out any kind of updates and things like that. And you'll hear more about that. But it's just, yeah, we have to do better. We just have to do better. And we have allowed our system to turn into this, and we need to take it back.
Totally agree. And with that, Lorena, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Lorena, can you go ahead and start from the beginning? Who is Lexi in relation to you? Who is Lexi?
Lexi is my baby sister. She's the youngest girl out of five. And, she was an outgoing, caring, loving person. She was a daughter. She was a mom. She was a sister. She was an aunt.
Take your time. We know that it's hard.
She was a best friend to a lot of people. She was a great athlete since the age of 4. I mean, she played everything. She played volleyball, basketball, baseball, softball, track, cross country, everything up until she graduated. And, I'm here today just because I just feel like too much time has passed, and my family and my family, Brian's family, like, no one has gotten answers. No one has had to be held accountable for what has happened. And September, it'll be 2 years since Lexi and Brian passed away, and nothing's been done.
Lorena, are y'all from Odessa? You and your family, are y'all from Odessa, Texas, born and raised?
Yes.
How was y'all's upbringing, if you don't mind me asking? I know your father's a respectable man. How was your upbringing in Odessa, the sister city of Midland? How was it out there growing up?
I mean, growing up, we had a great childhood. Stuff wasn't always easy. We struggled here and there, but we never went without.
Amen.
We have a big family. We're very blessed with the family that we have. I mean, we're all very family oriented. We're together once a week on the weekends, everybody going everywhere together. We had a good childhood, spending our days at the park and baseball games and tournaments and all that stuff. Like, no, we didn't have it easy. We weren't wealthy, but I mean, with the love that we had from my parents, from my family, like, I mean, I don't have any complaints. I mean, we were very, very loved, and we're very blessed.
And y'all grew up pretty tight, you and your brothers and sisters.
Oh, Nino, you're cutting out a little
Am I
bit.
cutting out?
Yeah, you're cutting out real bad.
Lorena, can you hear me?
No.
Let me. I'm gonna go ahead and reconnect the call, sis. Forgive me, y'all. Let me reconnect this real quick. Hold on. Hello,
Hello.
Lorena, are you there?
Yes,
I'm
can you
here.
hear me?
Okay. All right, Lorena. So growing up, y'all were a tight family, right? The brothers and sisters. I wanted to reiterate that before we tell the story. Y'all were a tight
Yes.
family,
Yes, very much so.
and you had your mother and father in your life too. Y'all did.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yes.
that's a blessing. Okay, now let's start with the story of this night. What happened? Can you go ahead and explain to the people what happened on this tragic night, and just give your side of the situation here about Lexi. Go ahead.
Yes. On the night of, September 5th, we were all together as a family. It was my aunt, my uncle, my sisters, my brother, my sister-in-law. We were all together having a good time. Whenever we decided to meet up a little later on during the night, um, we got together. We were just having a good time, and I remember getting to the bar where we were, and we're all there. And Lionel was there briefly, very briefly. He wasn't there. He wasn't with us long that night at all.
And who is
And
Lionel?
Lionel is the driver of the car that killed my sister and my cousin.
Okay.
And Lionel was my sister's boyfriend, and he's also the father to her baby.
Okay.
So we were all together. Brian and Lionel both left where we were, and we all stayed. And then, when it was close to closing time, music was off, lights were on. We were just talking, wrapping stuff up. And we were going to go to my aunt's house that lived on 52nd. And I remember Lionel getting there, and he was mad for something, and we didn't know what he was mad for because he wasn't with us, so we didn't know why he was mad. And I remember saying what the heck is wrong with him? And they're like, let's just go. Like, he's being stupid, whatever.
And
And
what time of the night was this?
this was it was a little after 2 a.m. because everything had already shut down. So by the time we got in the car and we were done talking and stuff, and it was after 2 a.m.
What did you think he was inebriated or drunk at the moment? Could you tell something was off with him?
Well, I knew he was mad. I didn't know that he was messed up.
Okay.
But
Because
that
he
was
hadn't been with
normal.
he hadn't been with you all for the whole night. He had just sporadically came in and out, right?
Yes. Yeah. So, I don't know what he did, what he drank, how much he drank. I wasn't there with him to say, I saw how much he drank. So he, we were getting ready to leave, and we were going, me, my other sister, and my husband, we were in my husband's truck, and Brian said, I'm gonna go with Lexi because I'm not gonna let her go by herself.
And
And this
who's
behavior
Brian?
by Lionel,
I'm sorry. Who's Brian?
Brian was also my cousin that lost his life
Wow. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
because of Lionel. And the way Lionel was acting, it wasn't very out of the norm because he had a very get mad over stupid shit. He would pick a fight, or he was very short tempered.
Okay.
and getting mad over little shit. So Brian was like, I'm not gonna let Lexi go by herself. I'm gonna ride with them. So we're like, okay. And then during that short time, I can't exactly like call like time frame like exactly what had happened, but I had ended up talking to Lexi on the phone, and she told me where they were. So I said, okay, meet me at the 7-Eleven on the Loop at Eastridge. And she was like, okay, we'll meet you there. So I was like, okay. So they were there, and then we pulled up, and again, it's Lionel in the driver's seat, Brian in the passenger seat, and Lexi behind Lionel in the back seat. So we pull up, and my husband was talking to Lionel, and he was like, what the hell, bro? Like, chill out. Like, and then Lionel was like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. My husband even shook his fucking hand. And I remember like telling Lexi and Brian, like, just come with us. Like, y'all come with us.
Wow.
And Lexi was like, no, sis, it's okay. I'm okay. And she's like, I'll see y'all there. And so I was just like, drive right, dude. Like, and I was like, okay, Lexi. And so, they're in the car already. We're getting back in the truck. And he takes off from the parking lot of 7-Eleven like a bat out of hell.
Wow.
And my sister that was with me and my husband, he was like, dude, what the heck is he? He's like, what the hell is he doing? I was like, oh my God. I was like, follow him. So mind you, we're on the Loop heading towards to get onto 52nd because my aunt lives on 52nd and that's where we were going. And as we're like, they're ahead of us because he's driving at a high rate of speed. And so I just remember, pulling up to the accident that I didn't know yet. Like, I was like, oh, dang. I was like, what happened? Like, there's a lot of people. And I was like, oh my God, it was a wreck. And I was in the front seat of my husband's truck. And I just remember, like, I looked to the side and I saw my sister on the floor. And I jumped off the truck and I ran to my sister. And it was in a residential area, so they did the people that lived right there, they heard it. So there was people outside, people outside with their phones and stuff.
Wow.
And I remember like, I mean, I was yelling at everybody because it was like disrespectful for them to be like with their phones out.
Yeah.
And my sister was wearing like a little black dress, and I remember I took off my shirt and I put it on her, and I stayed with my sister the whole time, and I told my husband to go check on Brian. And because like from where my sister was and from where the car was, it was far. And I told my husband, I said, go check on Brian, and I stayed with my sister the whole time. And not once did I ever like, question like, where's Lionel at? Where's he at? Is he alive? Like, I didn't question that because I knew like at that point in time, the only thing that I cared about was my sister and my cousin. Like, that's my family. I grew up with him, like being with him all the time. So I never once asked like, where's Lionel? Where's Lionel? So when my husband went to go check on Brian as I was with Lexi, I just remember my husband yelling, babe, Brian's dead. And I was like, what? And there was like an off-duty, like, I don't know if it was EMS, paramedic, or something of that nature. And he told my husband, he said, he's gone. There's nothing you can do. And so at this time, my sister had went down the street to my aunt's house because she lived down the street. And she had called my dad. And, so we're there and they're trying to like, take my sister away and stuff, like put her on a stretcher and put her in the ambulance. And she was alive. She wasn't talking, but she was breathing. And I just kept telling her to fight. Like, just fight, Lexi. Like, we need you. Kat needs you. And I talked to her the whole time until they took her. And we came to my mom's house after that. Like, they had to pry me off my sister. I'm there, no shirt. Like, they had to, like, pry me off my sister. And they needed to take her because, she was still, like, she did have a fighting chance. So during this time, we knew Lionel was alive. Like, Lionel was awake at the scene of the accident. He was awake. He was talking, and all he kept saying was, "I hit a pothole. I hit a pothole."
Hit a pothole.
And I was like, "What?" Like,
can you tell me? Could you so what kind of damage did you see to the vehicle?
Oh, I mean, it was messed up. Like,
did he hit something else? Did the vehicle roll?
He hit the fence, and the truck did roll. And it was like on the other side of the street.
Wow.
So the guy's walking around. Is he walking around? I mean, did he get injured at all? Because I'm gonna be honest, it's usually the drunk driver is the one that gets away with his life, and nothing happens to the drunk driver. Usually, was he walking around?
From my understanding, from what I heard, whenever he got to the hospital, they sedated him, and we eventually found out that he was like in a wheelchair, but it wasn't nothing like it wasn't an injury that
permanent. It wasn't permanent.
It was something that he was gonna recover from. That he was gonna be able to walk again. He was gonna be able to talk again, and everything like that.
Lorena, can you tell us real quick about the phone call to your father? I mean, they let him know.
About when they let him know about.
Yeah, I guess they called him, right?
With Lex?
So continue with that night. You were saying that they called the father, correct? Your dad went out there?
Yes, my dad eventually got to the scene. As they were taking Lexi in the ambulance and stuff. And at that point, like, everybody was in shock. I mean, I remember I was cussing at the police. I was like,
why were you cussing at the police? Because real quick, I want to let people know. I'm pretty sure your father was at home asleep, correct? Your dad?
Yes.
That's a phone call, fellow parents, that none of us want to receive. I just want to reiterate that. You know what I'm saying? So you're cussing at the police. Why?
Because they were standing there, like, trying to ask me questions. Like, where are y'all coming from? Where were y'all? Like, what were y'all doing? And stuff like that. And I was like, I don't, you're really asking me these questions after what you just saw, I just witnessed? Like, it was very, like, inconsiderate. And I understand, like, I'll tell you right now, like, I have a degree in law enforcement and criminal justice. But right at that moment, that was not the time or the place. I mean, it was traumatic what we saw. You hear about, someone's loved one passing away in a drunk driving accident, but they weren't there to see what happened. They weren't there to, see firsthand themselves, like, minutes after that.
Wow. And y'all didn't see the vehicle. Y'all didn't see nothing or hear nothing, right? The guy took off from the store, hauling ass, and
Yes.
y'all just pull up to a scene, and it's just a total mess. Correct?
Yes.
Wow.
And when we eventually found out, he was going 3 times the speed limit.
What was the speed limit on that?
I want to say it's 35.
Oh, wow.
It was a residential area, so it's going to be 30 to
Yes.
40. Okay. So your dad gets there. I would think your mother does too. Correct?
No, my mom actually had um my sister's baby. They were babysitting my sister's
Okay.
baby. So my mom stayed at the house with her while my dad went over there to see what was going on. And when he got there, they like let us know where they were going to be taking her and where we can go to like meet her and stuff. And we eventually, ended up at the hospital after like I came home. I came to my mom's house. I got cleaned up. I put clothes on because again, I did not have a shirt on.
Wow.
And we ended up at the hospital, and there was everybody at the hospital. And the only thing we were doing was praying. Like that's all we could do was pray that she pulled through.
And by then they had said that Brian, your cousin, he was passed at the scene, basically. Correct?
Yes.
What did, whenever the doctors came out to talk to you all and you started getting information, what was said? What kind of happened?
As of Lexi's injuries, I think she had a broken femur. It was a broken femur. I can't even remember exactly, but whenever they took her for like to check to see if to check to see if she had like bleeding in her brain and stuff, if her brain was swelling, and at that moment it wasn't. So they said the next 24 hours are critical, but like there is a chance that she can pull through.
And I bet y'all were just there. I can just like I'm trying to picture y'all there at the hospital, just pray, of course at that time. What can you do, ladies and gentlemen, but pray to God for a miracle, amen. And y'all are just there at the hospital, worried. I'm pretty sure a bunch of family just started showing up. A hectic scene, I would imagine. So what ended up happening? Because I want to go to of course, into what is currently happening with this injustice. But can you continue? I'm sorry.
So we got the call around 6 in the morning or 4 in the morning that basically she was brain dead. She had no brain activity. And it happened so fast. Like they were running tests on her and checking on her all night, but from 1 minute to the next, like that's all it took.
So was she ejected from the vehicle, I assume?
Yes, she was.
Well, damn, the dude's doing 3 times the speed limit. Like this dude's doing about 70, 80 miles an hour on a residential, road. But I digress. So, real quick, what would you say the hospital did a pretty good job? That's Odessa, right? The Odessa Hospital, correct?
Yes, it was at medical center, and
Okay.
they did. They were very like, whenever we had to go up there, they said like siblings and parents can come because it was like during COVID, so it was still like you had to wear masks. There was only so many visitors allowed and stuff like that. So we're all there at the hospital, and they pulled my parents aside to talk to them because she was a donor, and it was up to my parents to decide if they wanted that. And they they abided by Lexi because that's what she wanted. That's what she would have wanted. Like,
Yeah.
whenever she found out I wasn't a donor, like, she was like, "Why aren't you a donor? If you could save someone's life, why wouldn't you?"
Good point.
That is one of the most selfless things anybody can do is be an organ donor. It
Yeah.
saves so many lives, and I know it doesn't make it any easier for you all, but I'm sure Lexi, it made her happy.
And the whole time, like, nurses, they were there. They were supportive. They let us take all the time we needed.
Wow.
They did do so much, and I know their job is not easy. And my parents did decide, that that's what they wanted. So Lexi did save 6 people.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. It's a terrible loss for you all, but how
Selfless.
amazing. Yep, completely selfless.
So she was able to save 6 people with, and that's not even including like other small stuff that was contributed from her. Um, they did an honor walk for her at the hospital, and the public was able to go out there and be a part of it, and we were able to see like y'all.
And
So
Lorena, real quick, I guess and then y'all are suffering too because your cousin is dead, right? I mean, it's just a bunch of high emotion, just pain, heartache. I can only imagine, and my heart goes out to you and your family, your father. I respect your father, and wow. So go ahead, sis.
Can I ask?
Go ahead, Christy. I'm sorry.
I just want to ask. Quick, all of this was happening and all that. Was Lionel admitted to the hospital? Did he show up for the honor walk? Did he
Yeah.
come and did he show any remorse, anything for any of that?
no, I have not seen Lionel's face since that night of the accident.
Wow.
Wow. Did he go? Okay, well, I'll ask you in a minute about them. Anyways, go ahead, sis. Continue. Lorena, please continue. I'm sorry.
We did the honor walk, and they had to take Lexi to Dallas and do what needed to be done over there. And then, we were able to finally like get her back. And during this time, I mean, we were planning services. I was having to plan my little sister's funeral because I knew my parents couldn't do it.
Mm.
Like, I had to sit there and write my little sister's obituary.
How was her daughter during all of this?
Whenever she passed, Kat was 7 months old.
Oh, 7 months old. I thought for some reason I thought she was older than that.
So she was 7 months old, and of course she knew something was off. She knew she didn't see like her mom. I mean, she's very, very, very smart. Like, she's a very smart little girl. And, it was hard because we had to, deal with the loss of Lexi, the loss of Brian, and my sister wasn't even in the ground yet, and Lionel wanted to take my niece away from my parents.
What?
Well, hold on. Before we get there, what happened to Lionel? Wasn't he charged? Was he formally charged? What happened with this guy?
He had 2 charges of intoxication manslaughter.
When did he get arrested? What day? Do you know? That night?
I want to say it was no, it was because he was still in the hospital. I want to say he got arrested on September 9th.
And this happened on the 6th. So 3 days later, they arrested him.
Yeah.
And what did they arrest him
They
for?
took him from the hospital to the jail. He was arrested for 2 counts of intoxication manslaughter.
Okay, let's talk about this quick, ladies and gentlemen. Check this out. How much was his bond?
It was 60,000 for one count and 60,000 for another. So a total of 120,000 for him killing 2 people.
And I know that we talked about this a minute ago, but you don't know if he got out on signature bond or 10% bond. But wow, $120,000 is way too low, regardless of how he gets out.
I agree.
So,
Should have never been let out.
so Lorena, go ahead and continue then, because we're going to talk about the protests and everything coming up soon. But go ahead and if you can complete your stories, take your time.
The one thing that was very insensitive was like, I understand that, they shared a baby together, but with what he had just done, like having his mom reach out to my parents saying Lionel wants to see his daughter. And it's like my parents want to see their daughter, want to see their daughter too. And they can't because of him.
So where is the baby right now?
As of today, my parents, Lionel and his mom, they have 50-50 custody. So like
Wow.
1 week she's with my parents, 1 week she's with them, 1 week she's with my parents, 1 week she's with them. So she's back and forth between both places.
And the reason why I guess I'm just gonna ask the reason why I don't want the baby, I guess, to be completely with the father is I think he's basically a danger to society, or you think he's just not fit to be a parent?
No, he couldn't be a parent when my sister was here. Why does he want to be a parent when my sister's gone?
Can you
Fair
tell
enough.
us what happened? Can you tell us what happened 2 weeks before this accident?
2 weeks before.
On his, didn't you say it was on his birthday?
Yes, 2 weeks before. 2 weeks to the day. 2 weeks before September 6th, on August 22nd, he was in Austin for his birthday with some friends. My sister was not with him. He was in Austin with some friends, and he got into it. He wrecked a car, totaled it, and was arrested for DWI.
And then 2 weeks later, 2 charges of intoxication manslaughter, correct?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay, so he gets arrested. He's bonded out pretty quick. Is that correct?
Yes.
How long was he
He
in jail?
wasn't even in jail. I mean, he wasn't even in jail 12 hours.
Wow. What is he, an oil fielder? How does he got money? Do you know where he works at?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no idea.
Okay. So all this happens. I mean, it's been 2 years. Y'all are basically going to be doing a protest here pretty soon. Can you talk to us about how y'all found out about what's happening with the case? The phone call y'all had to make, correct?
Yes. This week, it was on Monday. My dad called the DA's office to, ask about an update, like what's going on. Has there any progress been made or anything? And there, and mind you, my dad is the one to call and ask for updates and see what's going on. And whenever he called on Monday, they let him know that he had a pretrial. I mean, not a pretrial. I'm sorry. He had a plea hearing, a plea conference on July 21st.
And that means that that's where he will let everybody know if he's pleading guilty or not guilty, correct?
Yes, and also, his lawyer can say, he'll plead guilty to a lesser charge for little to no jail time, or
Yeah.
he'll plead guilty to his 2 counts of intoxication manslaughter, but not serve the maximum sentence. And whenever I heard about that, it just really, really pissed me off because, first of all, my parents, Brian's family, should have been the first to know that this was going on. And we didn't. Who knows when or if we ever would have found out. And another thing is like, I don't want a plea deal. I don't want my family. None of my family wants a plea deal. Like, my sister and Brian deserve their day in court.
What do y'all want? What do y'all want?
The maximum.
Amen.
Do you know what the maximum sentence is for, manslaughter by intoxication? Do you know what the maximum is for that?
I don't.
I just find it so hard to believe that it's the families. How many times have we heard this now, that the families are the one that have to call to get updates through the courts? It's like somehow criminals have more rights and more justice than the families do.
Well, I'll say this, Christy. It seems like you have to be proactive, because if not, you're gonna get swept to the back of the bus. You're gonna get swept under the table, and that's just. I mean, I want to talk down on police or the system, the way it works, but that's just probably how it is. I hate to say it's a sad fact that this is how it is. You got to be proactive, and I always say, sis, don't become a victim. Try as hard as you can to be safe and whatever what you do with your life. But once you become a victim and you're on the victim side, you're right, sis. The criminal seems to get more rights and more more of a push than the victim does in most of the cases that we've come across. So again, ladies and gentlemen, we need to be safe. We need to take care of our family and friends, and really and pray for our families. Amen. Because once you become a victim, from what we're seeing, you can be forgotten, you can be neglected, and it's just a sad fact of the situation. Maybe that's just how it works. It sucks. Go ahead. Sorry.
Did they say, were they going to call your dad? Were they going to call Brian's family and let them know that there was a plea hearing?
Good question.
Or was it just a complete, accident? And I don't mean accident, or just completely, your dad calling and finding out that this was going to happen? They going to let your dad know?
They weren't going to let him know about the hearing. Wow. They said that they were going to call my dad the days following. After that hearing was done.
So they were going to let him know after the fact.
Yeah, so that he could plead down to a lesser charge and let the family know after the fact, after it's too late to go back and do anything about that hearing.
And see, and that's why we got a protest coming up. Yeah, we got a protest coming up because the family is not going to just take this lying down. They want their voices to be heard. 2 loved family members were killed. I think the evidence shows who was driving, what he was doing. And real quick, I forgot to ask this. Did this guy get a breathalyzer? Because you said intoxication manslaughter, that has to be charged due to someone being inebriated or intoxicated. Did they give him a breathalyzer? Do you know?
I don't know, but from what I know personally, going through school and stuff, in order to charge him with intoxication manslaughter, they have to have proof that he was intoxicated.
Okay.
And the family, I think, is privy to that information of what his blood alcohol level was, because I'm sure that was taken at the hospital by blood, not by breath, by blood. Good and point. It'll give the BAC, which is the blood alcohol content. And absolutely, y'all deserve that information too.
Wow. This is crazy. All right, so Lorena, can you talk about now what the plan is for the protest? Go ahead.
I just want, my family has been a victim of someone driving drunk too many times. We lost, a very, very good family friend to a drunk driver a few years back. And, now Lexi and Brian, and then I myself in October was actually in a hit and run accident by a drunk driver.
In Odessa?
Yes.
Man, this place is crazy. It's wild out here.
And you know what? We know that DWIs and all that stuff happen, but what a failure to Lexi that this man had a DUI 2 weeks before the fatal crash that killed her and Brian for the same thing. So he already had that one. And they had to have seen that in the system and still allowed bond.
Well, Christy, maybe we have a failure of communication. Maybe the Austin PD, there's somehow a missing link between Odessa Police Department, and Austin PD, right? Like, how could they not know that he was already charged on this? You know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder if there was was it negligence or just they didn't it's not even a factor, or did they not even know or connect the dots that he just was previously in a prior wreck due to the same situation? It's kind of weird.
Usually any pending charges or anything like that show up whenever you put them through the NCIC database. But maybe there was a failure. I mean, that's a possibility, but there shouldn't be room for any failures whenever it comes
Exactly.
to somebody's life.
That's a good question. Sis, we need to kind of look into that and see how did he fall through the cracks? Because think about it. Maybe I don't know how he got out on the first one. Maybe something could have been prevented, or who knows, right? I mean, at this point, it's all at this point, it's looking back at it, but that's just, it sucks. He does it 2 weeks before, and then look what he does. This I would say even a habitual alcoholic drunk driver. So Lorena, go ahead and continue with the protest. Give the information out for people watching right now. Go ahead.
The whole reason that I, decided to speak up, and I've spoken up before, on my TikTok. I have about 33,000 followers on TikTok that I shared, bits and pieces of stuff. And, I post my sister. I try to keep my sister's memory alive because of the kind of person that she was. Like, that's what she would want.
What's the TikTok called? What's the name?
My name is, my username is LRH6918.
LRH6918. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
I've spoken up before, but like just hearing about that, plea conference, like it's just here in West Texas, this is way too common.
Yeah.
When is a person going to be held accountable?
Yeah.
Whether or not that person whether or not my sister and Brian chose to get in that vehicle or not, Lionel chose to drink and drive, and he was the one responsible for the people that were with him and for the people on the road. And at what point is, the community going to say we've had enough? At what point will the prosecutor say this is enough? My family has had enough. Like, don't wait until this is you. Don't wait until this is your family going through this. Don't wait until you're in my shoes. Don't wait until you're the one on this podcast. People need to be held accountable. Like, you didn't take one life, you took two.
And actually, more than that, because of her daughter that's not going to get to see her mom anymore. And I mean, the victims list is more than unfortunately just Brian and Lexi. The daughter that's not going to get to see her mom anymore. Your mom that doesn't get to have her daughter anymore. It's you that doesn't get to have your sister anymore. It's sad.
But I think go ahead. I'm sorry.
And that's what the hardest part is like every Friday when I have to drop her off, like he gets to spend time with his daughter.
Mm-hmm.
He gets to celebrate birthdays with her. He gets to, celebrate Christmas, celebrate Thanksgiving, Easter. Like, he gets to celebrate all that with her. And my sister doesn't. And it's not fair. Her daughter is very, very, very loved. But nothing in the world compares to a mother's love for their baby. And she's gonna question, she's gonna want to know what happened. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not gonna lie to my niece. The day she's old enough to come and ask me what happened, I'm gonna tell her. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. She will know firsthand what happened. And she knows who her mom is. She sees pictures of her. She has voice recordings of her.
Wow.
She knows who her mom is. But I just think it would be so hard to be in y'all's shoes and drop her off to him and the other set of grandparents and know that he's just living his everyday life. Yeah. It would be such a difficult thing for me.
It is. It's very hard. It's very, very hard. The week we have her, we try to, enjoy as much time with her as we can. and do what we can. We get together, we barbecue, we go swimming, we do everything. And, one thing about Kat is like, she's smart. She's very smart. And, there's pictures around everywhere at my mom's house. I mean, there's a whole wall of Lexi's medals and stuff that that she put up because she had more medals than everybody.
Wow.
And, she knows. And one thing that really, hurts me is like, me and Lexi, we resemble each other a lot with our glasses and like our long hair. Like, we look very much alike. And for a while, like, Kat would be confused.
Wow.
Like, because she would see me, and there would be days where, like, I mean, we looked exactly alike, and she would look at me like, and until she heard me talk, she'd be like, "Oh, that's not her."
She would think you were mom.
Yeah, she thought I was her mom.
And Lorena, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And she does call me mommy.
So sad.
Lorena, I'm looking at your TikTok right now, all your TikToks of your sister, and can you touch on that? Like, you touched on it a little bit earlier, but how has this affected your family? I mean, it's 2 years later. I can only imagine, if I lost my daughter, I'd be a wreck. How does it affect your family? Like, I mean, you probably, of course, think about her every day, right?
Yes, I mean, it's very, very hard. It's been very hard on my family.
Wow.
Especially my parents. Like, that's their baby. Like, we, of course, we're here. We have, we're blessed to wake up another day. We have to continue living our life. We have to, like, fight for Lexi, fight for Brian. But it's hard. I mean, like, a lot of us have hit depression.
Wow.
Anxiety, anger, frustration. Like, it's been very hard having to deal with it. And as time goes on, it doesn't get any easier. Excuse me. It doesn't get any easier. I mean, it's very hard. But the family that we have, the family that we come from, we're all there to lean on each other. We'll cry about it. We bring up videos and we watch videos of her and stuff. And it's very hard. And, me as an adult, like, when Lexi passed away, I was 24. I had just turned 25, actually. And my oldest son and Lexi, they were best friends. Like, best friends. So I had to be the one to tell my son that his best friend was gone. Like, how do you prepare yourself to tell your child that? And he was at an age where, like, he understood. And, like, it's one thing, like, for me, as a person that I am, like, I'm a very strong-willed person. Like, I can be falling apart, but you'll look at me and you can't even tell. Because I have to stay strong for my family. I have to stay strong for my kids. But one thing I will say is that I will never forgive Lionel for what he did.
Wow. That's your right.
Not only to me, not only to my family, Brian's family, but for what he did to my baby. Like, my son is a different person because of him.
So what is the protest that y'all have set up? What is the date and time and location so that we can try to get as many people involved as possible?
It'll be July 21st. I want to get there about 12:30, 12. Because that's the day that this plea hearing will take place, and I just want them to see, the support that we have from the community. I mean, Lexi knew tons and tons of people, and I want the DA to see. I want Lionel's lawyer to see the support that we have on our side.
Yeah.
And show, like, we're not going down without a fight.
And it'll be at the courthouse, correct, in Odessa?
Yes.
Okay, the 21st, and we'll get flyers and we'll get all the info out. Thanks to Gabby that commented that. We'll get the info out. So again, you want everybody to be there to basically just be a voice for Lexi, right? And just let them know that she's not forgotten, and this was a horrible experience. And some people say the protest works. Some people say that it don't work. To be honest, the way I look at it is, why not? Why not go do it? Instead of just sitting back and not saying nothing, it's our right as American citizens to go and protest and lift our voices, especially for the victims of such crimes.
I absolutely think it helps. I think
Yeah, me
that,
too.
I think that people are heard. I think that, for them to have the voice, that they don't want a plea reduction, that they don't want, him to walk free, that it's been 2 years. I think that it brings a lot of awareness to whatever is failing. And like I said, we're not trying to bash any of the systems. Want to make that clear, but obviously there is failure in our justice, in our justice system, and that that we're not going to let our loved ones be forgotten. And I think it makes a huge difference.
Okay. Lorena, if you can, please give a final word for everybody watching now. Whatever's on your heart, please share it with the world right now. The people are watching and listening. What would be your final words you want to leave with the people right now? Go ahead.
I would have to say, my sister and Brian, they didn't deserve this. They had so much life to live. And that was taken from them because of what Lionel did. And I want justice for my sister and for Brian. I don't want to slap. He doesn't deserve a slap on the wrist. He doesn't deserve to be out walking free, like living his best life after he killed 2 people. And so I hope that, we're able to come together and stand, beside my family and the community, just come together and show them that we're tired of this. Like, if it was their family, if it was someone that involved someone they cared for, someone they loved, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't be taking almost 2 years for this to get going. And I just feel like whether it helps or not, like, I just want them to see everybody come together for Lexi and for Brian and show that, these 2 kids deserve justice. And, I know, like, no plea deal will be worth, like, no plea deal it's not even up for discussion. Like, I want my day in court with him. I want him to look me in my eyes. I want him to look at my parents in the face, and so he can see the pain he has caused my family. Yeah. Like,
for the judge and jury to get to see your niece that's now without a mom.
Yes. And I want him. He hasn't seen us. He doesn't know what no one will ever know until they go through it, what this does to a family. And not everybody that, falls victim to these things has the family that I have, that Lexi had, that Brian had. They don't have that. They don't have the support from anybody to, speak out for them. Like, Lionel took their voice away, so I'm here to fight for them. I'm here to be their voice.
Amen. Well, Lorena, we thank you for sharing your story. Everybody watching, y'all know what to do. Share, be there. Again, it'll be on the 21st, 12:30. I'm gonna be there. I was already reached out to attend, and we're gonna go raise our voices.
Can I ask just one last question? So whenever he bonded out, was he on any kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like any kind of restrictions? Like, yeah. Was he like on house arrest? Is he on anything?
As far as house arrest, I don't know. But what I do know from looking at, public records that is easily accessible through the internet, he had a breathalyzer in the car. Like, we have to blow into it before
Thank
you can
God.
start the car,
Thank
something like
God.
that.
Yeah.
But
He should never be allowed to drive.
that was taken out in February of 2022. So he didn't have it very long before they took it out.
Wow.
He should never be allowed to
I don't want that
operate a
dude. I
vehicle
don't want that
again.
dude on the road with my family in West Texas, like for real.
He
Oh,
did it
hell no.
once. You know, the first time he did it in Austin, he should have learned from his mistakes. It shouldn't have
Yep.
it shouldn't have come to this.
Wow.
Yep.
You know what? If anything, ladies and gentlemen, let this be a lesson for all of us. We don't want Lexi's passing to go in vain, but I want people to understand that people in West Texas are fed up with the crime. We're fed up with people being hurt and killed and murdered in situations such as this. So if anything, y'all, we have to raise our voice and we have to make noise and we have to let the public, the community, the justice system, the criminals, the drug addicts, the drunks, we got to let them know that we're not going to sit here while our family and friends fall victim to these crimes and then sit there and let the court system do whatever they want to do with us just being quiet and going along with the flow. We want better from our city officials, our church leaders, and our fellow citizens in this city. Midland and Odessa has been overrun with drugs, crime, sin, wickedness, you name it, in an oil town. And we're sick and tired because we live here. And with that, Lorena, I just thank you for your time. Again, any final words you want to give before we end this live? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I just want to, thank you for y'all's time and for, reaching out and allowing this to happen. And to everyone who has reached out to me, to my family, we really do appreciate it. And we see it. We see the support. My parents can't really say much because they'll have, they got other stuff going on. But, my parents see it. We see it. And we do appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts, what the words, everything that everybody has given us. And, I just hope to see you out there on July 21st.
And definitely leading up to the protest, we'll be in contact a whole lot. We want to get those flyers out. We want to do, I'm sure, another live event, a week before the protest, the day before the protest, and really want to push this information. And we're here for anything that you all need.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
All right, Lorena. Well, God bless you, and thank you for joining us on the call. Thank you.
Thank you.
And hold on. Back on about that. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The story of Lexi. You there, sis?
Yeah, I'm here.
Sis, heartbreaking tale. We're going to be involved. We're pissed off. We're going to fight for the victims here and for the family because, let's be honest, what kind of what father or family would want to be even dealing with this, but they have to, you know what I'm saying? But the community's going to come out and we're going to show up and we're going to show out for the family, for Lexi, for Brian, and we're going to stand against this lawlessness and this, drunkenness and this crime. This crime against these innocent people in the situation, these victims, right? Sis, we're not going to let it just go.
Enough is enough.
Yeah, thank you.
Enough is enough. We've heard it through
too many times.
The other case that we're helping with, and I know that I saw the family watching that we're helping with in Odessa not to get calls back. I called the detective on Monday, still haven't received a call back. It's Wednesday, I'm not getting one today because it's too late. So, when is enough enough? These families deserve answers and justice. And if you want to say I'm against the system, then just say I'm against the system because something has failed and it needs to be rebuilt.
Amen. And if anything, like I said, let this be a lesson just to anybody watching or whatever. We're not gonna just keep taking this in our city. Again, I live here. I care. My family is here. I care about my family. And again, we're not gonna put up with this crap. If we see injustice happening, thank y'all to everybody that tagged us in the post. That's how it happens. It's a post. It's word of mouth, and then it spreads to the right people, and then people get involved. And sooner or later, we hope to God that justice is served. Amen. That's the whole goal, is to get justice for the families, but more importantly for the victims of these crimes. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we just thank you for y'all's time. Please share. Please be there July 21st, 12:30. a little bit early if you can. Bring some waters for the people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get ready. When we might even do a pre-live protest briefing. When you go to a protest, you want to go up there ready to stand
Make signs.
and be ready, have signs, ready to lift your voice. If I do go there, I'm not trying to sit there and take charge of nothing, but if whatever they need from me, I'm going to do. But I'm just saying a little bit of order. We got to get there together and be a cohesive unit. And we got to basically, lift our voice at the city gate, like the Bible says. It's just clear what we have to do. And with that, y'all, we just hope y'all join us. Christy, final words, go ahead.
My heart goes out to
Yeah.
all these
Our
families,
condolences.
and it was another one that I had to stay muted quite a while because, it touches me emotionally. The thing is I don't live in Midland and Odessa, but it affects me so deeply too, because it is these people reaching out for help, and it makes me look like what's going on in other communities, and we're the people. We are the people, and we say it all the time. We the people are the ones that are going to make a change.
Amen.
A judge is not bigger than you, a police department is not bigger than you, a city councilman's not bigger than you. We hold the power in our hands,
Amen.
and we demand change.
Amen. And we demand justice, and that's all there is to it. And either way, we're going to be out there. So again, thank you for joining us on the live, y'all. Thank you for tagging us in the post. We've already got in contact with the family. Here we are. We're ready to serve. Amen. Christ is Lord, and that's all there is to it. This is West Texas. This is our area. This is our town. This is our families. This is our community, and we're not going to sit here and play these games and be going through these situations and that are already hard enough. Okay. These situations are already hard enough on a family, and then to get injustice or to get negligence or whatever, it's a no-go. That's all I got to say about that. So again, thank you for joining us, y'all. Chrissy, thank you, sis, and everybody watching. God bless y'all. Christ is Lord, and we're out of here. Hope you have a blessed night. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Good night.